Shalom, shalom, shalom. Hello, 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 everyone. I hope that you're off to a great week, starting a great week, as we say in Israel and in Hebrew, Shavua Tov. And to those of you in the rest of the world that are closing out your weekend and have to go back to work tomorrow, I hope that you had a great weekend as well. So, as I promised, I'm here to share more information on keeping our babies safe. If you didn't see my first two videos, please go back and watch those videos. This week, I will be adding a few slides into the presentation because there's so much information to go over, and there's some things that I would like for you all to be able to see as a visual besides just seeing me. And if you see me looking down, it's only because I want to refer to my notes. I want to make sure that I give all of the information that needs to be given, okay? So let's get started. So don't forget to click subscribe, like, and share, and definitely hit the notification bell so that you will get a notification when I upload the next video, which will be next week. As I promised, a video every week, every Yom Rishon, every Sunday, okay? So I also promised that I was going to try and keep these as short as possible. There's a lot of information to go over in today's topic. And today's topic, we're going to talk about how to recognize an offender. For those of you all that live here in Israel, from the community, you remember the book by Racayah, How to Recognize the Devil? Okay, this isn't a book, but we're going to talk about how to recognize an offender, okay? So we'll get started on that in just a minute. And this week, I will be adding a few slides into the presentation because there's so much information to go over, and there's some things that I would like for you all to be able to see as a visual besides just seeing me. And if you see me looking down, it's only because I want to refer to my notes. I want to make sure that I give all of the information that needs to be given, okay? So let's get started. I'd like to start with this slide that's on the screen. It talks about offenders. Offenders. We think of sexual offenders as wolves waiting to pounce from the shadows, when in reality, it's more often the gentle shepherd that we need to focus on. Just want to let you think about that for a minute, marinate on that it's more often the gentle shepherd. You see, we have this tendency to think that offenders, are have some special look, or they're the boogeyman, or they're the monster, and that we would be able to tell right off the bat that they are an offender. It does not work like that. There is no one size fits all when it comes to offenders. Offenders come in all shapes, sizes, ages, genders, economic situations. Some have money, some don't have money, social status. You got the everyday Joe. You have the people that are in positions of, authority, politicians, leaders, teachers, friends, family. There is no way to just, look at somebody and know right off the bat that they're an offender. Doctors, lawyers, professionals, celebrities, coaches, grandparents, parents, siblings, children also offend children. You're not going to find that with an offender. They do not have a big letter on their forehead, or they don't wear a special color. So how do you know? How do we know? I'd also like to clarify, when I use the word offender, we might call them a perpetrator, pervert. We have a tendency to get caught up on the word pedophile, which is really someone who has, an individual that has a sexual interest in children. But the reality is that all pedophiles do not act on that desire or that interest. Individuals that harm children are, they're married, they're not married, they don't necessarily have an interest just in children. Whether we call them pedophiles, pedos, the creepy dude, and cougars, because we cannot forget that females also molest children. They molest girls and they molest boys. And I can't emphasize it enough when we talk about the boys. They were molested when they were, or turned out, or taken advantage of by some woman when they were young. I'm talking 7, 8, 9, 10 years old. Some of them were 12, 13, and some of them are hypersexed at this point and can't seem to control what's going on with them. But they were taken out of cycle as children. So it's not as if a lot of men carry it like, this is a badge of honor, hey, I knocked that off, I handled the business, But it definitely can have its negative impact. So in recognizing the behaviors that offenders use, we want to start with something called grooming. Grooming is a process that an offender will use to get a child, and adults, the parents many times, comfortable with their presence, and they slowly lure that child into a sexual relationship. The next slide is going to show some of the grooming behaviors, okay? And these are things that you have to watch out for. At the same time, let me say now, and I'm going to say it again, everyone is not an offender. We do not want to frighten our children and make them afraid of every single person, but we do have to identify certain behaviors that are not acceptable, that are inappropriate, and that if they should happen, that our children know automatically, oh, no, 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 that they put a stop to that. And we give them the authority and the keys, they know, so that they can protect themselves. So grooming behaviors, I'm going to read from this other screen here. Grooming behaviors can include, but are not limited to, befriending a child and or their family, giving gifts, money, taking the child on trips, and are performing special favors, making the child feel that he or she is special, encouraging the keeping of secrets. We talked about secrets last week. Safe and unsafe secrets for children to know the difference. Secrets are a big part. Getting children to keep secrets is a big part of the grooming process. Taking pictures or video of the child, excessive communication such as texting, emailing, or calling, use of technology, desensitizing the child through non-sexual touching, like accidental touching of privates and or walking in on bathroom or dressing time. Now, this accidental touching, some of y'all might know people, and we're grown, and somebody brush up against you, and you're thinking like, wait a minute, did that just happen? And as adults, sometimes we're not sure. So how much more so for a child when that happens, and they're not sure? Did Doda, my brother, sister, whoever did, So those are things. Those are some of the behaviors that you will see. Let me go to this next slide. Continuing with grooming behaviors. Testing a child's boundaries by using inappropriate language, sexual in nature, and or telling dirty jokes. Playing body contact games with children, tickling, back rubs, or wrestling, those types of things. Making alcohol, drugs available at all ages, okay? Introducing pornography to initiate sexual interest or to normalize the behavior. Kids, a lot of times peer pressure, you want to be all inside and you want to be cool and you want to sit around the older people, but this is one of the methods that's used. Or offering to carpool and babysit, including overnight trips and sleepovers. So those are some of the things that someone who is an offender or that wants to get to your child may do. Again, it can be a relative. First of all, the thing that you have to understand, statistically, 90% of sexual abuse that happens to children happens by someone that child, and you in most cases, know and trust. It's not the stranger off the street. It is someone that child knows and trusts and feels comfortable with. And when they take that grooming process and run that child through the grooming process, and it doesn't happen all the time in a week. It might take 6 months, might take a year, until they get a child they're ready to take advantage of them. So how do you stop this? How do you protect your children? That's where we're going next. So again, we don't want to cause our children to be afraid of every single individual that they see. But these things that are mentioned in the grooming behaviors, teach your children, let them know that if someone is doing these things, it's not acceptable, no, get away from them, find a way for them to get away. They can put their hands up. Hey, no, I don't want to do that. And they need to come and let you know, okay? They have to be able to recognize these are red flags. And if they're not sure about something, they should always know. If an adult asks them to do something or they, exposes them to something that they shouldn't, that they know that you don't allow and they don't feel right about it, make sure your children know to come and let you know. And then you as the adult have to step to that other individual and address it. Okay, not just adults. I'm mentioning here about if adults do something and that children, know are inappropriate. Not just adults, anyone, teacher, doctor, friend, child, a sibling, anyone. They need to come and let you know, okay? I just want to look over the sheet, make sure that I've covered all of the important points. There's just so much to always cover, and give your children the authority to not hug someone that they don't feel comfortable hugging, to not kiss. Don't make them hug and kiss people that they don't really feel comfortable doing that. Okay, I think that we've pretty much covered everything as far as offenders are concerned. If you have any questions, please put a question in the comments and let me know, and I will get back with you as soon as I possibly can. Again, I had mentioned before about doing Zoom classes. If you would be interested in having some more in-depth dialogue on these topics, let me know and we can set up something. Okay, very good. In light of the length of today's topic, we will reschedule the second part scheduled for today, Know the Signs That Your Child Might Be a Victim, for next week. We pray the information that has been presented today is helpful.